Summary of the Trial by Franz Kafka. Two police officers show up at Joseph K.'s boarding house on the morning of his 30th birthday and tell him he is being arrested. Joseph, who is a skilled bank chief clerk, is not told what he did wrong. After a tough questioning, he is told to go to work as usual. That night, late at night, he goes to the room of Fräulein Berstner, another guest, and kisses her quickly. A date is set for Joseph's first hearing. He gets to his courthouse, which is in a rundown apartment building. He stands in front of a big crowd at his hearing and slams the judicial system. As Joseph is leaving, the judge tells him that his behavior means he won't get the rewards that these meetings usually bring. There is another meeting the following week, but Joseph is not told about it. He still shows up at the courts. Apart from the young hostess, it's empty. She flirts with him until a law student takes her to see a judge. Soon after, her husband, who works as a court servant, shows up. He shows Joseph around the law firm. Joseph gets so dizzy from the stuffy air in the buildings that he needs to be taken outside to fresh air. Joseph tries to get in touch with Fräulein Berstner many times, but she doesn't answer. A few days later, Joseph hears sounds of moaning as he gets ready to leave work for the night. When he opens a supply closet, he sees that the police officers who caught him are being whipped very hard. They say they are being punished because Joseph spoke out against what they did in court. Joseph is very upset, but he closes the door and leaves so that a friend won't find out. Uncle Carl of Joseph comes to see him at work. Carl knows about Joseph's trial and is worried about him. He takes Joseph to see her Huld, a lawyer friend of his. They meet the lawyer at Huld's house. He is sick and can't move from his bed. There is also a high-ranking court official there, but he doesn't pay attention to Joseph. Instead, Joseph leaves the room to flirt with Lenny, Huld's maid. After that, Carl tells Joseph that his rude disappearance hurts his case. While at work, Joseph thinks about his trial all the time and ignores important clients. Finally, he sees one, but he is so caught up in other things that his rival, the bank's deputy director, takes over the case, which hurts Joseph's job goals. The client tells him to meet Titorelli, a court picture artist, after hearing about Joseph's trial. Joseph gets the painter's address and then quits his job, letting his rival take care of the painter's other clients. Joseph finds Titorelli's room in a terrible group of tenements. The painter offers to help Joseph and talks about the different ways he could be found not guilty. Titorelli's answer shows that no one is ever truly found not guilty. Cases either go on forever or end with a conviction. Joseph fires his lawyer because he is getting more and more worried about not making progress. He goes to Huld's and meets Block, a businessman who is also a client of the lawyer. Block has been obsessed with his 5-year court case for the past 5 years. Joseph tells Block and Lenny that he is going to fire Huld. They try to stop him, but he gets to Huld's office. Huld tries surprisingly hard to get Joseph to return, but Joseph doesn't give in. When the meeting is over, Huld calls Block over and he begs at the lawyer's bedside. It turns out that the poor worker often sleeps at Huld's in order to get a meeting with the lawyer. One of the bank's important Italian clients decides to take Joseph on a tour of the building. The Italian doesn't show up, though. A priest instead climbs up to the pulpit and calls Joseph by name. The priest says that he is the jail chaplain and that he called Joseph to the church to talk about his trial. The priest tells Joseph a strange story about how there are many guards who watch over the law, which is meant to describe the law. 2 guys come to Joseph's room on the night before his 31st birthday, 1 year after he was arrested. He is taken to a pit on the edge of town, where someone cuts his heart with a knife. Like a dog, is the last thing Joseph says because he feels bad about his own death.
About the author. Kafka was born in Prague. He was the first of 6 children in a Jewish middle-class family. He liked to write and speak German, just like his family did, even though most people in Prague spoke Czech. This was a big cultural and political difference. He went to grade school, high school, and college all within a few blocks of where he was born. He went to law school and got a job at an insurance company when he was 24. He didn't like having to work to pay his bills, though. Kafka's letters and diaries show that he was tormented by a sexual and social sense of not being good enough, even though he seemed calm and smart to other people. He was deeply in love with several women, but he never got married. It is thought that Kafka burned at least 90% of the things he wrote during his lifetime. However, he did agree to let the Metamorphosis be published when he was 32 years old. He got tuberculosis when he was 34 years old, and it would kill him 7 years later. In his will, he asked his friend Max Brod to destroy any works that were still around after he died. Luckily, Brod didn't listen to this request and published The Trial, The Castle, and America instead.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.